Games, board games, board games. I might be playing about with board games, but I'm not gonna shout. Today I'll play with the deck you might know well. It's previously called Whipple Plus Plus, now it's called L. The L deck has a lot of games. Today I'll play free, and here are their names: Questable and Dwindell and Repeatable too. These are games that I will play in front of you. Board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. 10 a.m. ish UK time. Yep, it's like a couple of minutes late. You know, what's a couple of minutes between friends? Busy beats and board game blether. And hello, Robert, it is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you're generally well. What are you up to this morning? I am personally, on this stream, I'm going to be playing some of the LDEC games, like I just mentioned. So, Repeatable and Questable, I am not going to name the designers. These are the two games for the 2022 LDEC Design Contest that are solo playable. I will play through, see how I think, and feel free to chime in with your thoughts. I will be kind of holding back my thoughts a little bit to try and not influence you. I'll get into the whole LDEC design contest and how I see that going in, maybe 5 minutes or so. Dwindell was the... Oh my gosh, I just realized that's misspelt. Dwindell with a D-W. As in your cards dwindle away. Dwindell was the contest winner for last year. It is a one-player game. It's fairly intricate. Like, there's loads of one-player games for the LDEC, but this one managed to be different. It managed to have also 3 different modes that work really well, and introductory modes that's kind of, hey, here you go, and you can play this, and it's probably going to take you between 5.5 minutes and 30 minutes for your first game, depending on whether you play really quickly like me or whether you're one of the slowest players I've ever met, literally. Some people are really slow players. I'm expecting it to take about 10 minutes or so for most people, and then eventually it's like, okay, I do race through this, it's really easy, and then you move on to the tricky mode, and then the tricky mode is like about 4 or 5 times as hard, and then you go on the epic mode, which is about twice as hard as that, and it's like an hour and a half to play, unless you're me and I just kind of play by God. Like, yeah, David Brain would take half an hour, well, way longer than me, but gets a much better score. Anyway, so Dwindell is by Joseph Kelly. Once again, Questable and Repeatable. The way I do the LDEC design contest is I only name the designers once they are eliminated from the contest, and I will try to give a shout out to all these people. Both of these games, I will eventually put up the rules. I'll rewrite the rules, I'll put them up online, and hopefully we will get... If you're interested in that, then please join my mailing list or get in touch or something to say you are interested in playing the top 5 LDEC games of the year. It's a really good crop this year, and I'm excited to be playing these ones solo. So, yes. Robert says, I seem to have a huge list of things. I did playtesting of my roll and move game yesterday. I'm noticing a big difference to how it comes across in person. Do you mean... do you mean in person as opposed to in like online playtesting? Because yes, absolutely, there's a massive difference between person and online playtesting. And I'm just realizing that I could put some of my arts here. That would be quite cool. Oh yeah, okay, as opposed to online. So, yeah, Tabletop Simulator, I prefer not to kind of go into it because of, but yeah, Tabletopia, tabletop.screen, and there's lots of other ways. Or what's the one that's just for cards? Playingcards.io. So all of these things allow you to play the games and allow you to run through the mechanics for sure. But then it doesn't have the same emotion behind it. It doesn't have the same energy. It doesn't have the same, okay, it's me and you. And Robert says, yeah, online it seems to be multiplayer solitaire. In person, a lot more looking at what other players are doing, which online players don't. Yeah, I mean, we are making games somewhat. They are about the mechanisms. It is about what the scoring system incentivizes you to do. And I think that if you're unable to work out the maths, either because you're not experienced enough to work it out in your brain, or maybe you're pushing the limits of complexity. Like, I couldn't work out a Euro game, maths wise in my brain. But for a lot of simpler games, I would trust my own theory crafting more than just one or two playtests. And then playtests online, sure, it gives you an idea of what people feel emotionally about the mechanics, but then does it tell you about how they feel about the rolling of the dice? Because that rolling of the dice is very different emotionally to the rolling of the dice online, and drawing a card is different experience emotionally. Shuffling your deck online, it takes like one click. In real life, it could be a bit of downtime, or on the other side, it could be a bit of tension. I don't know. And communication, any sort of communication, is totally different. And that's honestly why I never bothered testing Seize the Power online, even though ITB did, because a negotiation game, yes, sure, everyone can talk at once, but it's very different if you can turn to the person on your left and say, hey, how about we do this? I mean, it's meant to be open communication, so no one's able to go off and do something in secret. But despite that, being able to turn, oh, how about this? And then someone jumps in and says, oh, but I'll offer you a better deal. That's the kind of thing that doesn't really happen online. Oh, Robert, so I will meet you at Tabletop Scotland. Yeah, Tabletop Scotland, I am sadly short of helpers. I am, not going to lie, a wee bit stressed about that. I am hoping to get a new game for it. I did promise a new game every convention. Rob has said that we might be able to get it in time. Fingers crossed it might be coming like really last minute, by which I mean arriving on the Saturday. But I will hopefully have new stuff to sell. And why does playtest autocorrect to the well-known word, obviously sarcastic, playlets? I've never heard of that word either. I didn't actually notice that even, but yeah, Tabletop Scotland. This is my impromptu way of saying, hey, if you're interested in helping me out, it would be lovely to have you, but potentially, if you're interested and if you're willing to learn a few of my games. But yeah, otherwise it's just going to be me and Jane, which will not be as fun, but I'm sure we'll have some good times, and I am looking forward to it. It might not be at the level that I expect of myself, but it'll be good. We'll have good times, and it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, let's talk about my birthday. Your recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights. Recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, because I'm willing to say I was born on August the 13th. And I was a bit stressed because my whole place is full of all these boxes. And yeah, honestly, I'm going to put a lot of postal stuff to the side. I'm going to need to get it back on. But in the end, I managed to clear enough space that people were able to sit around the couch, and it wasn't unpleasant. It wasn't like things were in the way and you had to move. Yeah, you had to move around stuff to get to the couch. But once there was a couch suitable for 3 people, and I made space on the other side for 2 chairs to go. So hooray for me. And then I had 4 friends. Let me show you. I'm not going to show you the friends, but I will show you one of the games that we played and talk about the others. So we played this one, which is called Cactus Stack. Cactus Stack, a mixture of dexterity and kind of Uno. So each of these shapes is one card. You've got the color at the bottom, so purple, red, orange, pink, and blue. Yep, that's it, I think. There's like 4. And you have to put the color on the bottom to match a color that's on the curved edge. So the cactus is constantly growing outwards and outwards. If part of the cactus ever touches the table, that's a foul and you need to take it off. And so it's going to kind of bend over with the weight, but then in the end, you've got this multi-pronged cactus, and it's like, hey, this is lovely cactus. Also, there you'll see the ×2, and there's a few cards that say ×2, and it's, okay, you get to take another turn. Oh, this one, you get to skip a turn. This one, you get to reverse the thing. And there's another one that's a prune card. And yeah, it's it works, it's fine. And honestly, the key interesting bit about this game is that it's what the inventors would call a card game plus. That it's a card game, but it uses the box, that it grows out, and this is a fun thing. I just want to quickly say that I was invited to the offices of the company that made it, and I was given a copy of this game as well as 2 others to kind of, for professional, hey, here's what we are doing reasons, because there's a possible collaborate, but there might not be. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the other games that I played included Yogi, which everyone who follows me should know, the best party game of physical constraints. We did play a 3-player game of QUESTABELL before, when one person was dozing and one person had not yet arrived. We played Lady's Choice, which is highly chaotic. I feel like I was actually quite surprised the first time I played it multiplayer. I was expecting something where you've got a little bit more choice. But for all the talk about how it's problematic, in the context of the game, I do think that, yeah, one of the cards possibly should be changed, and I will talk about that probably in a review at some point in the future. I feel like, oh yes, one last game that we played was Praise. So this was a game like from Japan. It's like in a tiny box about this size, and you're just praising people. You roll a die, and then some people have to praise a specific thing. So you might have to say, what style? You've got amazing style, and your style is just fantastic. Or you might have to compliment their collarbones, but the other person, the person who's giving the genuine compliment, then has to try and give a weird compliment to stay under the radar. The person who's giving the fake compliment has to give it to appear genuine, but then also everyone's got this emotion card, so you might have to say it slowly or without eye contact, or super quickly, or you might have to say with poison, or you might have to say in an embarrassed way, or whatever. And so it is funny. I remember there being laughter. I remember learning about the other people around the table. It was just fantastic. And thank you for the celebration of the happy birthday. And the other thing was that for my birthday, I bought a present for myself. Firstly, I bought a copy of Usagi Jimbo Teddy War, which I talked about on Saturday, I want to say, yesterday. And I also bought myself a lot of chocolate. This is all the chocolate. Most of this had already been opened, tasting wee bits of it, and we tasted a bit more together. And I've got the oat milk one, the cocoa nibs, and the blueberry is my favorite, and I'm just going to be tasting these over the next few weeks, and it's just amazing. Blueberry on bar, for the record, is my favorite, and on bar is actually fairly good. Tony's is good, but like, yeah, it's just sad that they don't have the match and the most exciting flavors in the UK. But the raspberry white chocolate is also good, and yeah, good times, fun times, delicious times. Let's talk about brilliant things, brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? I think that a thing which is brilliant is offers of help and offers of encouragement. Sometimes it can, oh wow, this melted really quickly. This was half ice, and now I literally cannot see any ice at all. I'm going to just, right now I'm just using my jumpers as dabbing things for these, but yeah, look at that. I promise you that 5 minutes before I started, it was perfectly filled with half ice, but hopefully it's still cool. Chilled water. Tiny bits of that ice still remains. Wow, that this much. I don't know if you can see it. There's a teeny tiny bit of ice just floating at the top. Yeah. Anyway, brilliant things. Yesterday I was really struggling. I was thinking, oh, I've got to clean this, and then, but I feel guilty about even taking a shower because I should be tidying up and lowering the expectations, having friends who are willing to just help you out, having someone who says, yeah, I'm struggling, and they're like, well, if you don't want us to come over, that's okay, it's your birthday. And I say, and they then joke, oh, it's your birthday and you can cry if you want to. And I am feeling really down. I was feeling incredibly down, and I was genuine. I say, yeah, it is my birthday, but I don't want to cry. I would like you, I mean, and I point blank ask, like, would you be willing to help me? And they say, yeah, I would be willing to do that as a birthday present. I come over and help you tidy. In the end, everyone came late. Someone was locked out, but I did it myself. But I managed to do it myself. There was a tiny bit of help right at the end, but people were not fussed. And having people who are willing to help you, offers of help, people who do not judge, that is a brilliant thing. And I'm so glad that I had people over. And I hope that it's the first of many gatherings that I have at my place. As always, feel free to comment, ask questions, from like, follow. I am going to take a couple of minutes while I ramble to sort out the thing, but if you have any questions, then please ask me. You said that you might have some questions about the LDEC contest. If you want to, stuffbybears.com/contest, I will. This contest, the deadline is 31st of July. So just to clarify, you are too late to enter the 2022 contest. But if you want to enter to the 2023 contest, there will be a 2023 contest. I will edit the text slightly, probably around January or so, but the judging criteria, everything, the prizes will be very similar. And yeah, so feel free to check it out. Robert always also says, it's not always easy to contact people when needing to. Someone once said to me, how would I feel if a mate just got in touch wanting to talk, and would you want to help? That makes it a bit easier for me to contact people. Yeah, and I think it's really important to just, social media can be a lot of wanting to put your best foot forward and trying to portray yourself as perfect, which I think can be incredibly problematic. On Facebook, I do not reveal everything about myself. There is a little bit that I hold back. But on Facebook, I would say that I allow myself to be a lot more vulnerable than I am on Twitter or Instagram, for sure. And I do allow myself to be a lot more vulnerable with all my Facebook friends in a friends-only post than most people are. Yesterday, admitting that I was down and then having people get in touch, obviously that was a lovely thing. And having people say, you're really great. And saying, yeah, it's not about me feeling useless because of making games. I actually feel quite good about the games that I've designed. I'm feeling useless about the other things. And yeah, as soon as it's one thing, then you start thinking, oh, but I should have done that art earlier. I could have done this in a more organized way. And there's things about my business that I could do in a more organized way. But yeah, then you get into all the dark thoughts. yeah, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in a space that you like on a WhatsApp group with a few people, or if there's a Discord thing where there's only certain people are invited or something, and you've got to think, like, you reach out and put a general call out, and hopefully some people answer the call, and that's also really nice. Anyway, let's get into the games. And Rob, did you have any questions about any of the games? Otherwise, in case people want to see, this is my contraption. So this is basically a microphone stand, and then it is connected to a selfie stick. The selfie stick goes over there, and Chris kind of bound it up for me. I've always got this little, it's a really cheap set of headphones. It's like £1 set of headphones, just because otherwise it doesn't quite work. The audio will be coming out, and I'm going to then I stream basically from a separate camera, because StreamYard allows me to connection is not private. Link didn't open on Safari on a Mac. Said connection is not private. That's weird. Maybe try putting stuffbybez.com and do like HTTP or something in front of it. Like try that. I don't know. But if you go to stuffbybez.com and then put, if you're able to get there somehow, and then put contest at the end, then that will get you to where you need to go to read the rules for the contest. Anyway, I'm not feeling 100%, not gonna lie, but come on, turn around, every now and then get a little bit closer to circle now. Mute the mic so that we don't get loads of things going on. Okay. Yeah, let me try one more time to do this. And let's go to stuffbybez.com/contest. Let's see if actually, you know what? I'll give you a direct link to the Google form. So the contest redirects you, but try going straight to the Google form. See if that works. Yeah, I might actually open this box. Not open this box for yours. I assume it's still a full deck. Wow, this is so retro. I've not played with one of these for so long. In case people are curious, the difference. Oh, is that? Let me get that out of the way. Let me test a different light. Let me okay. I don't know, this feels about as good as it's gonna get. As a designer, do you still like to play your own games? Asks Robert. I find it hard to play mine, and I prefer to teach or watch. Yeah, do you mean brand new games, or do you mean games that I've played loads and loads of times before? Because certainly, not gonna lie, Yogi is less exciting than, you know, the 10th or the 100th time that I played it. I've probably played it, probably not 1,000 times, because I slowed down on how often I demo it. And you know what? I'm going to try turning off this light, and we'll see how that works. Is my face way too much in shadow, or does this kind of work if the focus is on the table? Let me know what you think, please. And I'll try and get this wire out of the way. Unplug and wrap up the wire that way, and boom. But yes, it's better without the lights, says Robert. Thank you for the feedback. I massively appreciate that. Okay, in terms of new games, I still enjoy trying out my games. In terms of Yogi, I enjoy it less than when I first started playing it. But the reason that I played it yesterday was partially because I wanted to show it to one of my friends, but also because I genuinely enjoy playing it. And I think that, frankly, my games, I do make them somewhat for my own taste. And I still enjoy them. If I do not enjoy them, unless it's meant to be for a very specific person who's not me, or there's a strong reason why I should not enjoy them, the question then becomes, why would anyone else? Anyway, I just wanted to show very quickly the difference between the two decks. That's a perfect card to show. You can naturally see the G was the one card that changed quite a bit, and the G was changed to make it less like a C, because the C, I can find one. Here is a C. You can see that the C, which is left unchanged, the old G was closer, but the new G is kind of a little bit more modern, but with a stronger crossbar, it's easier to distinguish. The other letter that was changed was the V. V, 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 V. V for Venezuela, or Venezuela, or Vietnam, or Vivian, or Vial. Wait, that's not right. There should be an E here. Did I miss it, or is this an incomplete deck? It would certainly be annoying if this. Oh, there we go. OV. So OV, the reason that I changed OV is because it was slightly too close to an upside down A. And then if we look at the new V, if I manage to find it, it's just got a sharper bottom, and it makes it a little bit more identifiable. OV, come on, there we go. For Vanuatu. And hello, Elaine, it's lovely to see you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I am generally feeling a wee bit better, actually, having finished tidying and having had the friends round. It is super lovely. Anyway, so I just wanted to say, so I'm going retro. This is the new deck, and this is the old deck. Also, the old deck, you see it's black and white, the new deck is red. So I am going old-fashioned for this one. And it just also reminds me that even when I bring out categorical, you know what? There is probably going to be minor changes between first and second edition. Is this camera slightly lagging? Yes, it is. And my phone is slightly lagging, but hopefully it will all work. And thank you for joining me, as always. I am going to be playing 3 different games. One is a memory game, one is a serious word-making game, and one is a semi-serious word-making game that has a lot of missions. Elaine says, I think that sometimes we forget we're humans and not robots, and we can't keep up with everything all the time. Yeah, sometimes even like just things like I'm not happy that it's taking me the better part of the year to even get the couch area tidy of my new place. Like, there's still so many boxes, and that's not great. But you know, yeah, Chris and Doric have offered to help me, and so I'm going to take them on with that help. Yes, thank you. Please help me. So let us crack on with Repeatable. Okay, in Repeatable, this is a storytelling game and also memory game. And so what I do is I think of some 2 words, IQ. There was an interesting question, and then I put all the cards back on top of the deck. Now I've got to remember this one thing, and each time we go through and make it longer and longer, if I ever forget stuff, then I have lost the game. So there's an interesting question, and I flip the card after I say the word. So we can check, yep, interesting question, IQ, that was the correct thing. Obviously, it's very easy now, but we will get up to 10, 12, whatever. There was an interesting question about narwhal babies. Okay, so we put them back on. There was an interesting question about narwhal babies. NB, so that shows that I'm correct. And now I'll look at the next card and decide something to continue the story. And whether the narwhal babies are really brave. Okay. You are allowed to change the story. The only important thing is that those 2 words that are on the cards have to always be the same. So, one day last week, someone asked me an interesting question. And that interesting question was about narwhal babies. They were asking me, are narwhal babies really brave? To which I replied, I don't know if they are really brave, but they are definitely rather majestic. And we carry on. And so this could go on a long time or it could stop. So someone asked me an interesting question last week about narwhal babies. They asked me, are narwhal babies really brave? And I said, I don't know if they are really brave, but they are rather majestic. And really daring. Does the story pass from player to player? Yes, exactly. So if you can, I've played this a couple of times. Once as a 6-player, once as a 3-player. Oh no, once a few times as a 6-player, like because you end up playing it a few times. It's so quick, and a few times as a 2-player. Anyway, and every bit passes to the next player. It is cooperative though. It's very important that it's cooperative and are trying to get the best score. So, someone asked me an interesting question the other day. The interesting question was about narwhal babies. Are narwhal babies really brave, they asked. I don't know if they're really brave, but they are definitely rather majestic. And also really daring. And to which they replied, wait a minute, I understood that daring and brave were synonyms. What do you mean you're not sure if they're really brave, but they are really daring? So, let's see. There was an interesting question last week about narwhal babies. And are narwhal babies really brave? I said, I don't know if they're really brave, but they are rather majestic. And also, they're definitely really daring. To which the person replied, well, I understood that daring and brave are synonyms, so what do you mean? And to which they replied, I understood that we're alike. Alike is just one word, so that doesn't work. I can't have alike. And yeah. I'm going to wait a minute. Has this just frozen? Has my top camera has just frozen? That's terrible. Yes, I just noticed that. I'm sorry. Thanks for telling me, Rob. And Elaine says, this looks like so much fun. If I can't sleep, I go through Granny went through the supermarkets. Yes, it's like a variant of the public domain shopping list game for sure. What does it say? Your browser has lost a connection to your microphone. Huh. Let me stop this. Let me turn my phone off and turn it on again. Maybe that will help. I've not tried turning it off and on again yet, so we will see. Anyway, so this is an interruption, so I don't want to forget all the things, so I am going to point it down, and I will show you from this side. And the last two words will be, if I understood that they were synonyms, so but are they, does that mean that you think they are at least a little bit different, these two words? Okay, so I'll just flip all these round so you can see them better. There was last week an interesting question that someone asked me. They asked me about narwhal babies. They said, are narwhal babies really brave? I said, I don't know if they are, but they are definitely rather majestic and really daring. And they said, oh, but I understood that daring and brave were synonyms. I understood. Does that mean that you think these two words are at least a little bit different? And yeah, now that's the end, and and I said, it's you who feels like they are the same. I feel they are completely different words. A quick hello to Timmy. It is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. And Elaine says, the cards are much clearer like this. You know what? Maybe I should actually use the other angle, the small thing, for this game. If I get the other camera back, maybe I'll use the phone for showing my face and just for showing the cards. You had your regular donut with milk. I hope you are enjoying that. Anyway, so we say it's you, and contractions are allowed, but words in the middle are not allowed, and you are clearly allowed to use proper nouns, because why the heck not? Okay, there was an interesting question last week about narwhal babies. The question was, narwhal babies, are they really really brave? And I said, oh, I don't know, but they are rather majestic and really daring. To which my friend said, oh, that's a strange thing to say. I understood that daring and majestic were synonyms. At least, broadly speaking, does that mean that you're saying they're different? And I said, well, it's you who says that they are synonyms. You angry goat. You see, we'd gotten into an argument at that point, and I called them an angry goat. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe that was a bit mean, but so, repeating the story, because this game is called Repeatable. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling with this. Narwhal babies. No, interesting question. I heard an interesting question last week about narwhal babies. Are the narwhal babies really brave? I do not know, I said, but they are rather majestic and really daring. And my friend said, wait a minute, I understood that brave and daring were synonyms. Are you saying that they are at least a bit different? And I said, it's you who said that they were synonyms, and they are, yes, at least a bit different, you angry goat. I don't know why I called them an angry goat. I mean, it's just a thing that we have. And they said, so, discuss. Tell me why they are different. Okay. And it is hard for me to see all the things on the screen. Let's see. Would it be allowed to have a slightly easier variant where you can flip the card first to remind you what the letters are? Yes, that does make sense. But the issue is that flipping the cards over afterwards means that you are able to then check if you were correct or not. And yeah, the idea is that you would mess up after 12 or so, but I have played like quite a few times. I'm trying to definitely make it easier for myself by having an interesting story. Yeah, like Hungry Goat. Okay, interesting question is how it starts. It all started. My story starts with an interesting question. When someone asked me about narwhal babies and whether they were really brave, I said, narwhal babies, wow, they are rather majestic and really daring. But are they really brave? I don't know. And they said, I thought that brave and daring were... I understood that brave and daring were synonyms. Do you think that they are at least a bit different? And they said, it's you who says they are synonyms. No one else in the world does, you angry goat. Oh, and they said, okay, tell me about this. So, discuss. And so I told them about the new zoo that I'd been to the other day. The new zoo clearly has a narwhal baby in it. Anyway, the interesting question last week was, are narwhal babies really brave? Narwhal babies really brave? I said, I don't know, but they are definitely rather majestic and really daring. To which my friend replied, I understood that these were synonyms. Are you saying that they are at least a little different? I said, it's you who says they are synonyms, you angry goat. And they said, okay, calm down, calm down. So how are they different? So discuss. And I told them about this new zoo where every kangaroo had been in the same enclosure as a narwhal. I don't know how that would work. Let's carry on. So, once upon a time, there was an interesting question asked about narwhal babies and whether they are really brave or whether they are just rather majestic and really daring. And the friend said, I understood that they were synonyms. Are you saying that they brave and daring are at least a little different? To which I replied, well, you angry goat. Oh no! It's you. I forgot it's you. Oh, so I got that bit wrong, so it's you. And then I did manage to get the angry goat and discuss and every kangaroo. So my score is the number of cards that I got, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel really good about that. 12, I mean, I got one of the pairs of words out of order, but yeah, 12. I feel really good about that, and that is my playtest of the solo mode of Repeatable. Elaine says, wow, this is a hard game. You're doing so well. What's a good game to try and practice memory skills? Thank you very much. Yes, when I was playing with Charlie Paul, I'm not going to be embarrassed to say that we played 4 games. The first one, Charlie messed up. Then game number 2 and 3, I messed up when there were like 5 cards in the deck, just getting something slightly wrong. And oh no, and then the fourth game, we got into the groove, and it's all about really remembering the story and making sure everything makes sense in that order. But yeah, it's you who is, yeah, an interjection might not be the best thing for a memory aid, but it's all about what helps you remember, which is really interesting. And yeah, the last game we definitely got more than 10. It was like 10 or 11 or 12 I got with Charlie. And so 12 seems to be a really good score. Well, at least for me. And so, yeah, let me know what you think. You've probably learnt enough just by watching it. I will say that as submitted, it was submitted as a competitive game where once you lose, then that person's lost and everyone else wins. But if you're just one player, you just try to keep going as long as you can. And to me, it made more sense to just do. Well, it was actually when we first played it, someone suggested, well, it would be nice to just do a co-op, and we say, or trying to do it as long as we can. And also, when you're cooperating, then you make the story more interesting. Because if you're competing, your incentive is to make the hardest thing you can for the next person. But yeah, that was the only thing. Let me know what you think. Of course, the designer will be able to see this playthrough. Robert says the co-op seems like a more fun idea, would encourage people to make things more memorable. Yeah, that's the reason why we went with that. And yeah, so that is. Oh, I need to turn this back on. I turned it off, and now I need to turn it on again. That is one of the 12 games that were submitted for this year's LDEC design contest. So there are 12 games submitted. I have played 11 of them. One of them, called QUESTABELL, still need to play, and I will try and replay everything multiplayer next month. And we've given audio feedback to the designers, except for one, because that one needs. It's aimed at people who are really good at words, so I'm going to maybe get David Brain over or something to ask them if they would be up for doing a special playtest at my place. But yeah, September, it might be a Sunday in September, who knows? September will be a let's play through everything on stream and let's discuss which are the top 5 of these things. Let me go back to StreamYard and see if I can. So any other comments other than Robert, very much appreciated, will be able to be seen by the designer. I will point them towards this. Next, shall I play the other new game, which is QUESTABELL, or would you like me to see me tackle the winner of last year, which is Dwindell? And I don't know which mode I'll go for, tricky or epic or beginner, but and if I do beginner, then I'll probably do like super fast mode. But yeah, would you like to see the winner of last year's contest, or would you like to see new things? Okay, Robert votes for new things. Let's see the new thing. Okay, and then I'll do Dwindell afterwards. So let's see how should I set this up? This game requires, yep, it's QUESTABELL. There will be 2 lines of cards. My phone seems to be working. That's what happens if I don't plug in the headphones. So Elaine also votes for new things. And Elaine says, I only asked about the easier variant because I think this could be a good game to help with mental agility, but as my memory doesn't work that well, most of the time I don't think I'd be able to play it without a bit of extra help. It does seem like a huge amount of fun, though. I love a creative story game. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try it, I don't know if you've still got an L deck. I believe that you had one at one point. And if you've still got it, then I'd be interested to hear if it is still interesting, because if you're flipping over, my concern is that kind of gets rid of the mental elements, right? So you're not going to, if you do forget what a certain pair of letters was, let's say I flipped this over and I said every koala, and I thought it said every koala, then I don't know that I was wrong. But if I flip it over and if I say every panda, or then I guess you never really know, because everyone could say each kangaroo or each koala when you've got every kangaroo, and there's nothing really to check perfectly were you correct or not. But the thing I like about this, as opposed to the public domain game, is that it's a case of, firstly, these are going to push you down an interesting, slightly random path, and it is a creative storytelling. But secondly, that it's like, oh, was this the right thing? Flip. Now I get to know, oh, I missed out something. Let's rotate this and do this like so, and I'm going to put this card down here and wrap this wire, gets it out of the way. Oh, what? We've got falling things. No, that's not what I want at all. I don't. Okay, I've got to put my. I think, actually, yep. Let's try. I'm going to try and. Oh no. I will try. I will get this working. I promise. This is the kind of sort of slightly ramshackle nature of this stream. One day when I go to Thailand, and if I'm still streaming, I will one day have like a studio with actual dedicated cameras and everything. And then it will be like, hey, this is the head camera and this is the overhead camera. And it will be much better cameras. Thanks for your answer. You're very welcome. But genuinely, if you are interested in trying it out, I would be very curious and to hear how it goes for you. Okay, let's see. We've got the cards there. Maybe if I bring this one down a bit. Whoa. Let me remove this for just a moment longer. We can make this work. And I do apologize for if you ever needed proof that I am not a professional streamer, this is probably why people don't get back to me about stuff. This is me. Is this too close? I don't know. That feels a bit too close. Let's physically move it. Does that work? Hello, you can see me now. And I will move this down, and there. Don't drop things on your head. No, I'm not dropping things on my head. And, oh wait, I just realized that I can see the things, comments on my phone. I need to go to Thailand as well, to be honest, says Timmy. Yeah, I am enjoying the warmth for sure. Okay, so this game is called QUESTABELL. In this game, let's see if we can make this work. I've got this game was submitted as a 3 or 4 player game, but I think that there is scope for a one-player game, and that is the thing that I will be checking. This is a very ambitious game. Oh, are you skedaddling, Elaine? Well, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and lots of love. Bye-bye, Elaine. Have a lovely day. So, in this game, 3 cards in hand. These are the cards in my hand. I've got EK, NZ, and SD. I am going to be playing cards to one of 2 different rows. These 2 rows will be able to create words. So level 1 is super easy. Your words have to be 3 or more letters long, and you have to make 3 of them. So I will choose, and each time you put down a card, you have to be able to say a word that could be possible here. So I could say den, D-E-N. And maybe I will just make that 3-letter word. Yeah, let's go for that. And I've already made that word. That then clears out. And we have scored one of the words that we've got to make. I could carry on and say gay, because that is a word that I noticed. Yep, let's carry on and make the word gay. And that's our 3rd thing. So we're always refreshing up to 3 in our hand. And at this point, I would just make the word mud and win the game. But this is where the game gets trickier, because it is a mission-based thing. So the next mission might be to make 2 5-letter words. So I do wonder whether it should actually always be 3 of a type. Was there something nice about having 3? So 5-letter words. Okay, I'm thinking TH. I've got lots of possible. I could go thing. I know that N is really common, and I know that G, like there's 3 of them, and this is where the 2 rows really help, because you could be working on 1 word here and 1 word down here, if that makes sense. So I'm going to place. Is there something else, like in case I don't get the G? Could I go for? Yeah, I could go for child. So I'm going to go for child. Let's keep the TH, so that could be child or thing. Okay. I'm going to put down this card because that keeps it open to be thing or child, and then I can start pondering the other word. Oh, I could do thins. Yes, thins. So T, H, I, N, and S. So I am just going to. Oh, I could do thing, but SG is a much better card. So I'm going to give up the SC, and I have made my first 5-letter word. Boom. I'm happy about that. Yeah, this level feels much more appropriate to my level of ability. Okay. And just quickly, QUESTABELL is the name of this game. I just want to pop that up. Are you choosing which slot a letter goes, or can you add a letter before, after, or in between? So you've got up to 4 options for where a card goes. So you could put the card, let's put it down. So let's say I had some cards here and also some cards there. So I can put it to the start or to the end of either line, here or here. Obviously, if there was no cards here, then it would just be here. You don't choose which of the two letters you're going to be using until it gets to the end. I mean, until they actually claim the word. So, yeah, you're choosing at the start or at the end. I hope that makes sense. So I've got these ones, and I've got to think about a 5-letter word. This is where it's kind of, yeah, how can I put this? Yes, exactly. You cannot place in between. No. You cannot place in between, and that's part of the challenge. So with 3 cards in my hand, I am thinking about what other things might be likely to come out. I am thinking a little bit about the, how should I put it? Yeah, the distribution, the probabilities, and I'm hopefully going to get things working to make another 5-letter word. I think, oh, see, that's a brilliant card, and we could have child, or abort, A-B-O-R-T. Yep, that's homes, or loses, or loam, L-O-A-M-S, loams. Yes. So I'm going to do that. I feel like that gives me a few options. Oh, we could do globe or plog, plog. Oh, slope. Oh my gosh, I've got slope. Yes. So I could do SLO, and then, yep, I'm going to keep on going with slope. And if we carry on with, oh, interesting. So I've got the choice of EM or EK, and I will choose EK because I'd rather keep the M. So I've made the second word slope. And let's say that I had to make 3 5-letter words, because 1 is not so satisfying. I mean, 2 is not so satisfying. So, dentist, no, that's really challenging. Then, deans. Let's put in the NZ and call it ending. Even though one of the G's has already gone, and there's only 2 G's left. Night, N-I-G-H-T, night. Oh, this is where I wish I'd done the N-A, so I could do N-A-I. What's Niles? No, that's animals. No, animals is a bit ambitious. Aniseed. Aniseed would work. I mean, we only need another S. Oh, if we get another L or an anima, I think anima is a word. I'm going to, or if it's not, I could even do animate. I'm going to double check very quickly. Is anima a word? Let's check on Collins Dictionary. Collins Dictionary. Let's make sure this is plugged in. Anima. Is it a word? Yes. It is the feminine principle as present in the male unconscious, or the inner personality, which is me. Okay. So, yep. Sure. Point is, it is totally a word, and I get to say anima, and I have made 3 5-letter words. The designer suggested so there were ideas for other missions, and the idea is that it keeps going up. The level design of the missions hasn't quite been done yet, but some of them could be about specific number of cards. Some of them could be about using letters from the bottom. Some of them could be about, the border, saying that you have to get a word can't have more than a certain number of borders in it, or maybe a word cannot repeat any borders in it, or maybe you cannot place a border next to a border. Let's keep going. Shall I go up to 6-letter words and see how much harder that is? Should we do that? So straight away I see THI, that's amazing. I'm thinking things, THINGS. Yeah, I'm going to put down the TH and say things to keep it flexible. I'm going to say HI, and I'm still thinking about things or hinges. Yep, I really need a G at some point. Finch, no, Tinch, Tink, Tinder. Oh, Tinder could work. No, Tinders. Can Tinder be pluralized? Is Tinders a word? TINDERS. I'm fairly sure Tinders. No, Tinders is not a word. Okay. So Tinder is an uncountable noun. Yeah. Other things, would missions be other than length? Yes, there would be missions that aren't just the length of the word. Hein. What? Yeah. I'm just going to focus on. So, like I said, there would be somewhere. That's a space that still has to be explored, but the ideas are things involving the lower letters, things involving specific people making words, things involving using certain letters in a word. And maybe for this round you've got one wild card, which is, you take out all the ones and then you've got to use all the ones by the end of the level. That would be an interesting one. But anyway, so I'm trying to make us 3 6-letter words, and this is getting really challenging. Are proper nouns allowed? No, this is a proper word game. It's not like the previous one, which is a creativity game. This has to be, yeah. Thin. I'm going to go thin, because then thin could be things, or it could be things, or it could be, yeah, that's all I can think of. But yeah, I am whoops, there, you can see it now. So I'm going to keep those there, and unless I get to, oh wow, I got to G. Okay, so I'm thinking of things, and S is really popular, so I think that seems like a strong move. Okay, so I'm just going to wait until I get my S. Now I've got to start working on my second 6-letter word, and we are also allowed to make just short 3-letter words, but then we're going through the deck, which might not be the best thing. I feel like A is really suitable. We could do nails, NAIL. No, we could do animal again. A braid, BRAIDS. We could do braids. Yep, let's put this here. Oh, boom. Lair. So if I put this here, I can claim it if I need to, because it is a word with my L, lair. Lair. I really need... Oh, I really need to get DS to make this work. And it wasn't actually clear, like, because the claiming of the word and the limited things was a new development. But yeah, at this point, should I be allowed to keep this? And if I don't like my next words, I can claim it, or should I have to claim it? I think I should have to claim it, and I'm going to, when you place a word. So I'm going to claim lair, and that doesn't actually help me with the mission, but it means that I can now go back to working on this row so I don't lose. Because if I can't place a card, then I obviously lose. I just noticed that the overhead mic has messed up again. I do apologise, it is the way of today. Let's see. R, so I could do pure itsy. Yep, let's keep with purity. Let's see if I get the Y. It's unlikely. Okay, let's go for lure. And I've still not got an S. Okay, let's make that 4-letter word and clear it just so that maybe I get an S. And okay, EEN, that feels like a good thing to have in the game. So I can see home, HOME. I can see potentially gnome if I get to G. Hone? No. 1 would be a potential. If I do D's, NE, then that could also turn into needle. Or indeed, I could just stick at 1 and just try to get my S for my 6-letter word. I'm going to go with ONE for 1 and really hope that I get an S. Because I really need, and this is the thing, that right now it's kind of like I've got this one thing where I'm really trying to make this 6-letter word, and then the one backup where I need to keep getting rid of cards. G is really powerful. So I'm going to, EA is pretty good. I'm going to put ME down. I can see I've got more. EA is also pretty powerful. Do I just keep making 3-letter words, or do I try to make a 6-letter word down here? I think I need to make the 3-letter word, because the chance of me getting an S is pretty high at this point. I mean, it's high, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. There we finally blimmin' go. An S, SX, things. And I have finally made my very first 6-letter word. Boom! 1 out of 3. Okay. NB. Onion. I don't know if I have enough ends to honey. No. Anger. Angle. ANGLE. Angler could also work, but then I'm hoping for an L, which might not be nachos. Oh, Nachos. I just need another O and an S, and there is a large probability of an S because we started off with 6 S's here and there's still 5 remaining in the deck, so I'm going to go Nachos. Yep, Nachos seems like a strong choice. I'm going to do the H for the Nachos. And now I need to think about these ones. So do I go for another 3-letter word to do pen, for example, just to get them out of my hand, to hopefully get the O and the S? Or do I think about how this could be puller, for example? I'll keep my options open for now. I'll put down NU. Oh, I've got the S. I need that for naturals. I mean, S is really powerful when you're trying to elongate your words and just get an extra thing in there. LAN, pen, I could do pen. And if I do this, steam, I'm just thinking if there is a 6-letter word that has EN in it, that I could possibly still make. You know what, I'm just going to play the simple 3-letter words and hope that I make another 6-letter before the deck runs out. Okay. Oh, boom, I've got the O. So finally, I'm making nachos. Nachos, nacho, Nachos. Nacho time. Okay, I only need to make one more 6-letter word to win. Okay, MT, ODEYRW, T, tow truck, TO, tower, or indeed, yep. That's only 5 letters though, but then I've only had 2 S's so far. There are, yep, I like the sound of tower. Or indeed it could be S'mores. S'mores is a word. Is that a word in the actual dictionary? Because s'mores is definitely something that American people talk about. SMORE. S'mores. No. Oh, but I could do stores. Even though STORES. So all I need is one more S, and I think there's still 3 in the deck. So, yep, boom. And yeah, at this point, it's just a case of making sure that everything works out. So I've got, pardon me, towards here, ear, I guess, could work. Oh wait, I kind of cheated. I had 4 cards in front of me. Ear, I can definitely work. Or if I get B for boy, or rival, oil can work. OI, and then I place the L. But I don't even need to do that because ST stores. And that is my third 6-letter word. Wow, that was close. And I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left for the 3 6-letter words. Yeah, 3 7-letter words would be really, really tough. It gets exponentially harder as the word length goes I could have put story. Huh. Yeah, but I'd already put the S at the end. If I had put the S at the start earlier on, then yeah, that would have opened up my options. Yeah, that's a good shout, Robert. And again, the level design needs a lot of work, but let's play through a few of the lower letter challenges and see how that goes on. Let's say first there's three words that use two or more of the lower letters. This one should be relatively easy. Two or more of the lower letters, even though I am a wee bit hot. I'm going to. Oh, Robert says DY and S words are both at the same time. I guess sometimes the player will look for just one word and not check if others are still available. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you get too into your own head, if you know what I mean. And so, yeah, well done for noticing that. That's all I can say. So now I need to have two of the lower letters. The lower letters are the ones that are harder to use. A, E, I, N, O, R, S, T are on the top. Everything else is on the bottom. I'm not going to say the whole alphabet, the other 18 letters. H is really good. I'm going to put the OH down. I'm thinking of chi, CHI. Or we could go hang. I've already got the word hang, boom. And I'm just realizing that I'm a bit sticky and sweaty. Just using my jumper to hang. HAN. And oh, do I want to go for D or G? Or do I actually want to keep the options open and start another word? Because if I were to go, let's put the SD here. Died. DYED seems like a solid word. Oh, if I just go die, DYE, that fits it. So that's DYE. That uses two of the lower letters. That's one. And hang uses two of the lower letters. Live. That feels like a strong idea. LIV. So now I'm waiting for an E to come out, and I'm going to. Oh, I could do hut, HUT. H U and T. Boom, hut. So that's my third word with two of the lower letters. That was fairly easy. Now we move on to what would it be like if I had to use three letters from the bottom. Again, this is my hand. My hand is the IB, IY, and CDOK. I expect this to be similarly to the word length, exponentially harder as you go on. Oh my gosh. Bid. I can see a potential root word which I'm going to try and avoid. Bided, like they bided their time. If I get an E and a D, that could work. And it is important to know which letters are on the top and which are on the bottom for this one. An old biddy, BIDDY, or caddy. I could have a lot of. Let me put down the TD and see what comes out. Okay, SX is not going to help me this game because I'm not able to do much with the X. Daxi, Dixie. Yep. So, oh my gosh. Baddie? Let's go with ID. So, bided their time. Or biding? Yeah, let's go with that. And I'm going to get rid of these, just do a quick sir. S I R to clear my hand. It doesn't advance the missions, but I do get more things. Bid, Bido, none, ba, no. Let me go for NU. Actually, let me go for OV because that feels like less exciting thing to do. Whereas if I were to have, oh, hub, but I don't. This is where I wish that I had a third row, but I don't. I only have the 2 rows. Okay. And I can't just put an N because it's got to be 3 letters minimum. So yeah, if verb, I'm going to hope for another H and do north, new, who. Who is probably a word. HOO. Let me double check who on Collins again. HOO, like the noise. Oh, who is a word for she in the West Yorkshire and Lancashire dialect? Well, there you go. I was not so aware of that. So, I am going to take advantage of that and go who and claim that word, and hopefully I can make, oh, bud, boom, bud, yep, bud. That's my first word with 3 from the bottom. That felt like an achievement. That felt really challenging. So the question is, do I hold out for another D? Am I allowed to look through the cards? Should I be allowed to look through the cards? I'm going to say yes. There's another 3 Ds in here. I'm going to hold out hope that I get another D. I'm going to put the AP, could do CAD or yep, let's do D is so useful. Candy. Cab is probably a fine thing to put because D and G, I think I probably want to keep those for later. Cab. Still got to make 2 more words. Oh, EP. It could be T, for example. Oh, now again I've got Doug. Oh no, I've got D. Bided. That's what I was waiting for. How did I not? Oh my gosh, I'm totally out of it. Yeah. Well, they bided their time. And finally, they got a second word with the three lower letters on it. Lug. So basically, it doesn't matter what I get. Lug and phew. That was genuinely challenging. I mean, I don't know how that felt from watching it. I mean, dare I try, like, just testing it with 4 to see how it goes? Because this kind of feels like even if it's a game which is really meant for 3 players or whatever, then I'm really enjoying it actually 1 player, and I think it would work fine. As I say, it was submitted as a 3 or 4 player game, but I am thinking, well, 1 player, I'm enjoying it. How does multiplayer work? Everyone's got their own hand, and then you take turns to play it. So I've played a few times 3 players. Everyone's got a hand of 5 cards, and you take turns to put down one of the cards into the middle. And I was actually thinking that 2 players, everyone's got a hand of 4 cards, should probably work fine. I am wondering whether, let's say, 2 words with 4 from the bottom. I mean, that might. My brain is getting strained just thinking about that. Should I try 4 from the bottom, or should I try using the special ones? What do you think? Yeah, cause I'm struggling to think of the rabbit. Rabbit has only the B and the D. Muddle, Muddle, has 5, which is great. But puddle and muddle, like, fundamentally, it's got to be with the U's, I think. Poodle? Oh no, poodle actually works. In which case, maybe it starts with the OH, and I'm thinking poodle. I'm going to still think poodle. I'm still thinking poodle. And we will see if wow, got the L. I might do big. We will see what happens. Pood. Amazing. I only need the E, and then I've got poodle. Poodle just needs an E at the end. Oh my gosh, I've got poodle. I feel really proud of myself. I'm not gonna wait a minute. That's not 4 at all. That's 3. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 4. Wow. Wow, this is a real okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm up to this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, you need the double consonants, like boggle, Boggle, or begged. Begged would be a word, Begged. And I've got the G, so I am basically waiting for the G to come up, because it is such a specific word, and it's so hard that I'm waiting for things to come out in a very specific order. At which point I could do Fin just to get rid of these cards, and Fin, and Lit, L, I, T, and the problem is that maybe I'm missing a lot of potential things here. begged, or is there another possible thing? And feel free to help me. Begged, reg, res. No, I need arps. Sharps, no. Sharps would only again have CH and the P. So it's the B, G, G, and D. Okay. I could do H, I, and then hope for hill, or I mean, if we got child, then that would be really cool. Hill. If I put this down though, that risks me losing. Oh, begins. No, begins doesn't work because BEG, INS. INS are all from the top. I've got to use 4 from the bottom. That's the really challenging thing. 4 bottom letters. It's not just about word length anymore, it's about how many from the bottom. And so, yeah. I'm going to do HIR because I'm thinking higher. Okay, I do have the EG. Yeah, I can't place that until I find the G. On iron, Niro, none of those are. So I'm going to have to get rid of this, sadly, and do higher. Just to clear that to keep some space. Oh, boom! That is what I'm talking about. Now I just need an E. And then to get TM, I could do mug. Yeah, I can't get 4 bottom letters. 4 is a massively more difficult. Let's get rid of the D for mud and keep the G because RM could be rad or meg. RARE, that could be a word. Yeah, so Roberts, I hope that it made sense why I couldn't do begin, and I have to wait for begged because it says the BGG are on the bottom, and I'm waiting for the Wait a minute. Did I just move the E down there without thinking about it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I am so tempted to take a takesy backsy. Is claiming a smaller word just to avoid losing? It feels like I'd want some reward for it. Like maybe put a card back to the bottom of the deck to shuffle it in. That's an interesting idea. So if you claim a word, you're allowed to shuffle in the letter. And let me highlight that message. So yeah. Yes, it is just to avoid losing, just so that I can clear my hands just to get some things. And yeah, that is an interesting idea. I do like that idea. And then you keep the game going a little bit longer. So each time you make a word, you put a card down. That also is interesting with some of the other... Yeah, because yesterday, with 3 players, we played a game where you had to get exactly 10 cards each. So that meant that either you had to do a 5 and a 5, or you had to do 3, 3, 4. There was no other way. And if you were putting 1 card back from each word that you claimed, then instead of it being like, yeah, maybe it would be then 8, or you're trying to get 7, and then that means that you could do a 5 and a 4, which makes 7, or you could do a 4 is 3. It does make the maths slightly harder for that. It could also be that it's an optional effect, because if it's an optional effect, then that also feels like all upside. Yeah, optional effect would make it really nice. I really like that suggestion. And what I was thinking made sense in a solo version. No, it's not competitive. It's cooperative. It's always cooperative. So multiplayer, it's cooperative. And yeah, it does make sense in the multiplayer version as well. Like you're thinking, okay, this one we're going to put in, and yeah, if you're trying to get exactly 7, then it makes the card counting, like the maths, slightly easier. If you said you need to get exactly 5, then you could just do a 5-letter word each, but then you can't make anything more. Or you could do basically if you're 1 off, then you've lost. If you've got 4, if you're 2 off, then you're okay. So if you make a 4-letter word, you need to get rid of one of them to go free, and then you do a 3. Yeah, that's interesting. So it would still need a bit of mathsy ability. But yeah, that's a really interesting idea. I really like it as an optional, not as an optional, this is something that you may play with the game, but it's each time you claim a word, you may shuffle in one of those cards. Because at this point, if we had that, I would feel a lot less bad about saying, okay, R, and I'm going to shuffle in the E. And I don't get to see exactly where it is. So yeah, should it be back on the top, or should it be, yeah, Robert suggested place on the bottom of the deck. If you know that a pair is coming at the end, does it give two? Let me actually flag up all these things. Place to the bottom of the deck also means you know a pair is coming at the end. Does it give the player too much to track? Yeah. The S cards might come around more. Yeah, if you were really using the S, is that a problem? I'm not sure that it is. Yeah, it might mean that there's okay, this is basically what you're always going to do if you're trying to make the longest words. You're always going to be using the most powerful cards, but I really like that. It gives you something extra to consider, because then you've got to realize, okay, S is really powerful. Oh, SG is blimmin' awesome. I mean, do you feel like that's an issue? Anyway, we're trying to get an E. Oh, let's go with SC up down here. Begged. Finally. And I think that is the first word that I've made with 4 bottom letters. That was exhausting. B-E-G-G-E-D. Begged. I feel accomplished. And if we're playing with the new rules, I get to shuffle one in. I like G. G is pretty good. D is pretty good. Double D is valuable. Double G. I would actually look at what's in here. D, we've got 1D, we've got, why is there some upside down? 1D, 2Ds. Okay, I'm going to pop that in there because now I know that there's 3 Ds left. That feels nice. It doesn't feel overpowered. And regarding S coming out more often, Robert said, I don't think it's an issue. I think multiplayer, it would make it easier. There are probably lots of options for word completion bonus. Yeah, but like shuffling one back in, it's like such an intuitive, obvious thing to do. That it's just a really strong idea. And yeah, the other thing what was what was I thinking? Oh my gosh, it's so hot. Yeah, like sometimes based on the thing, like in this game, I don't care about the S because I'm focusing on the lower letter. In another version where I'm focusing on just using the singletons, then that might be fine. So yeah, it's not as if one particular card is overpowered, or it's not a no-brainer. You need to consider it for sure. So I think it's interesting. Coddle? Coddle? Do we have an L left? L. L. 1, 2, 3. Okay, do we have an E left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got the letters for Coddle left in the deck, so it is possible. So let's go for Coddle and let's see what happens. So I need to put the D here, clearly, and I need to keep that L to the side to put it down for Coddle, and now I need to think of AW. Let's get rid of some things. Has. Boom! Coddle. We are going to do it. Coddle, I'm really excited. This is a good difficulty. I feel adequately challenged for sure. Yeah. Up at the top, I'm going to do hat. Just get them out of the deck. So all that I need to wait for now is to get the E. Rob. Mike. MIC. Boom. Got Coddle. CODDLE. Oh my gosh. That was challenging. And if it was like 5 letters from the bottom, that would definitely be doable, but that would be like extreme difficulty. This already feels like I felt adequately challenged, and I've played a lot of games with this deck. So I'm going to stop there, except for one more mission that I want to try, which is firstly, let's get this back. I'm going to take out all the cards with a 1 on them, which are the hardest cards to use, and I have to use 3 of them in words. So we've got the J, X, Z, Q, Q, V, and K. And I'm allowed to make short words, or maybe it should be 4 letters minimum, because if it's meant to be a harder letter, yeah, just doing zoo doesn't feel challenging, but zoom, okay, now that's marginally challenging, and I've got to do 3 of these cards. Where should I put them? The idea is that these are always accessible, so there are special rules for this level where all these letters are something that I have access to, and I know they are off to the side, but hopefully you can still sort of see them. Oh my gosh, no vowels at all. Well, let's start with the TL. I really like the rule that you've come up with, Robert. Yeah, potential shuffling 1 letter back in whenever you make a word. I could do LED, LED. And now I'm thinking, okay, CK is such a strong thing. Neck. Let's go with C. The only thing is, once I place one of these, I don't get to see another card. And I will go with lead and then shuffle back in the vowel, which does actually feel really nice. I really like that rule. I mean, it is going to mean a tiny bit more shuffling, but it feels like, yay, I get another word letter in there, I get another E, I get some more vowels for later on. Hopefully I get the E just now. No, I didn't. That's okay. And I'm thinking maybe I should have left the option open to go NK rather than, because then I could have done bonk or donk, but I didn't. Ah well. I'll put the RD. Ack? Back. I could do back. Boom. ACK and back. Boom. I have used 1 out of the 6 hard letters. I'm trying to use 3 of them. And I will shuffle back in value. L is also really good, so I'm going to go with the AL, and I'm shuffling that up. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So I've got, if I get to U, then Q is going to go down. If I get lots of O's, then zoom, or this could be oxen. This could be juice or jeers. I'm going to make the word bed, unless, and that does also mean that there's actually a small advantage to making short words, because I get to shuffle back in 1 in 3 of them, and it is definitely easier because I get to keep the vowels, but it's something that, you know, it's another decision point, it's something to think about. And oh, I've got the U. Well, what did I say about the Q and the U? I mean, I'll put the OU down. Queen. If I do get queen, then that would work. Quest. Quest could work. Let's do SH. G feels slightly more valuable. Amazing! I've got quest. Boom, quest. So I've used another of the really hard letters, and I get to put something in. I'm going to put the O in because yeah, I really like this rule. This is like a solid thing. Zoom, Zong, Gonzo, Oxen. Let's see if we can get. Let's put down the OH and see if we can get to Oxen, or we could have taxes. Yeah, I would need an E, and I've not. Oh, I've taken out 2 of the E's, so there's only 4 left in the deck, which isn't a massive amount. Oh, a Zoot Suit. In any case, whether I pay ovary, jogging, that's probably not going to work. Jogs? Yes, that could work. JOGS, if they have to be at least 4 letters. Okay, and let me put fit just to get to avoid losing. Yep, I need the other G. Oh, wait a minute. Do I even? Yep, I've got. Yep, there is one G left in the deck. Okay, fit. I want the I back in. I want the I back. I want the I back. I want the I back. Okay, come on, we can do this. Vire, Zyre, Liz. Is there any potential for using one of these? Jogs could also be a word if I get a G or an S. Either of those could be fine. Lie. Jogs. Boom. Jogs. Uses the J, and I've used 3 of the hard letters, and that's the end of it. I feel, yeah, that was enough of a challenge. I actually came into it thinking I was going to use the Z or the. I don't think it's a case where I would always use the same letters. It would definitely depend on what I had. Yeah, let me know what you thought of that. Like, just having had a look, do you feel like you would be inspired? Would you want to play it? Obviously, the level design, the mission design needs a lot of work, and to get not only to work out what the possible missions should be, but then to refine them and then put them into the correct thing. It feels like the structure of the game is solidly in the development phase, but then the missions are still kind of in the design phase. But there is so much going on in this game that I am okay with it needing a little more work than some of the other things. It looks playable, says Robert. I'd be interested to see what other missions can be added. Yeah, same. Like some of them, looking at the borders, if you think about, okay, we aren't allowed to put the same border next to one another, is that enough of a restriction, or would you say you can't have the same border even in anywhere in the same word? Yeah, there could be some sorts of interesting setups maybe with the deck, or saying that you need to use 2 2s in the same word. That might be interesting. I felt like the ones mission that I just did was interesting. And if you've got ideas for stuff, then interesting to find out. Just playing and, for me at least, just extending the number of letters in the word was interesting enough. And yeah, definitely the lower letter. Wow, that was a mind bender. You can also play with the minimum word length, because certainly if you say, okay, at this point you can only make 4-letter words, that would have very much changed that last level that I played. If I could not have made 3-letter words in that level, and I had to make 4-letter words, and then that gives me slightly less control over what comes back into the deck. It means that I'm never as certain of being able to finish those 4-letter words. Yeah, there's definitely something there. I'm aware that I said I would play Dwindell, but I've been going for 2 hours now, and I am starting to flag a wee bit. I apologise to Joseph Kelly. I apologise to anyone who came to this YouTube video keen to see how Dwindell gets played. But if you are keen on that, then let me know and I will make sure to do it another day. Maybe next week, because I'm going to do, yeah, unless I've got guests both of the days, Saturday and Sunday, going in future are either going to be me doing work on something and sharing that, or it's going to be me playing something solo. And it was just late last night that I said, oh, yeah, let's do DL deck stuff rather than Dice Theme Park, which was my first thought, because I didn't have the energy to, after a very late night last night. I walked someone halfway home and said goodbye a little bit before 2 a.m. and then got to bed around 3 a.m. So, yeah, I'm probably going to have a little bit of a nap this afternoon, not going to lie. Robert says there's lots of things that will add challenge or make it easier. Remove all the one cards. No word can contain an E. Oh, or if you just removed all the E's from this game, like just remove all the E's. I guess saying no word can contain an E means that you can use the other letter, like you could still use the K. I'm trying to remember what else comes with the E, and now I have to. The E's come with the L, K, P, M, W, and Y. So all of them except for K are on the other things, and it would probably be easier, rather than say you cannot use an E, just take them out of the deck. And that is a big change. Or indeed, yeah, any of the vowels, any of the main vowels. I think that E is probably a harsh one. Taking out all the A's, or I's, or O's. And that would definitely change the flavor of the game. That would change the kinds of words that you were able to make. All value 1 cards are wilds, but words need to be 7 long. Interesting. The reason why I would instinctively against that is because with only 6 cards that are value 1, those 6 cards could all be at the bottom. But yeah, definitely having 7 long words could be a thing. Having particular cards be wild would be interesting. Maybe in the same way that the ones in the last level that I played, they were off to the side. Maybe you could say you've got 1 or 2 wilds off to the side you can use during this game. These are just random ideas, no idea if they would work or not. No, I appreciate your brainstorming, and I hope you don't mind me judging your idea. I mean, I'm going to say these are all brilliant ideas. I love the way your mind is spinning. At least one player must make a double letter word. Yeah, I love that. Like double letters, like a word with two of the same things, like Phil, F-I-L-L. Is that what you mean? Because it's got 2 letters on it. Or Wibble, but it would be spelt the correct English way, W-I-B-B-L-E, because it's got 2 B's in it. Is that what you mean? Like muddle? Funnel? F-U-N-N-E-L? Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, 1 double letter words feels a little bit easy, but, 2 or 3 of them, boom, another level. That's interesting. Yeah, got it. And Robert says 1 player's word must start with the first half of the alphabet, other players the second half, or divided between player count. That's interesting. Or maybe like all the words must start with the first half. Yeah, that would also keep it slightly easier, just everyone's like the first half. I don't mean easier in terms of easier to execute, I mean easier to internalize the rules, if that makes sense. But I really like that, alphabet restriction. There's so many great ideas here. A player must have a noun and a verb. Yeah, like thinking about what types of words you're making. You must make, typically it's more about what the group needs to make. But if you say in this thing you need to make 3 nouns, now you need to make 3 verbs, and then later on it needs to be verbs but of a certain word length. Or you can combine these to have multiple things. But there's so many ideas here. I love this. So many ideas. I'm sure you can think of more. I mean, don't be too certain. I already spent like a hour or so kind of. I love these ideas. So like, I don't want to recap them all. So um, let's actually get to that stage. Let me first go and ask the question of the day. Question of the day. Here's a little question before going our way. Question of the day is, what is your favorite four-letter word that begins with F that is not rude? I'm going to say funk. Yeah, I enjoy that kind of music, that meow. I also like fill, like, to eat your fill. Yeah, I mean, the other words that I think of don't excite me. Fell, feel. I mean, feeling is good. Feelings, that's good. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, feel is a good word, like just sensations and stuff. Film. Like film is good. I like the meaning of that word. I'm going to actually go with. I'm going to stick with my first initial answer. My favorite four-letter word that starts with an F is funk. Funky time. Um, and yeah, what is your favorite four-letter word? Roberts also has a question for us. I assume you've played the Crew Mission Deep Sea. No, I haven't actually. I've played the original. But Roberts says the missions. Oh no, this is a question. The mission are much more diverse than the original or the Crew. Aren't the original and the Crew the same thing? I'm slightly confused by this. Oh, that's a good word, flip. Yes, I use that word so many times in my LDEC games. Yeah, flip is a good word. Yeah, that's a strong choice. Doesn't mean to type a question mark there. So what do you mean by it's much more diverse than the original or the Crew? Do you just mean, yeah, the first Crew was just things like win 8 of blue. Yeah, so you mean the original, the Crew, you just mean them as one lumped together, rather than two options, right? The second Crew, you mean Mission Deep Sea, right? There's only two, the original and then Mission Deep Sea, unless I'm missing something. Second Crew was more missions like, you may not lead the trick with green. Is your point that we should look at that to be inspired? Because for sure, the other thing is, frankly, this is a game that could come out and then it could continue to be refined, and yeah, the development and design of the missions could last another year, frankly. Okay, I understand. There are two. I was correct. I'm not completely mistaken. I'm getting something wrong. There are two versions. Crew something got quest for planet 8 or 9, whatever. And Deep Sea, much more interesting, says Robert. I'll get that one day, and I think the takeaway here is you're saying, see if we can make more interesting things, see if we can be more like the second version rather than the first version. But having said that, frankly, if there can be an LDEC game that's half as good as the Crew, which is a bloomin' Kenner Spiel des Jahres winner, then I think that's a very, very strong thing. So yeah, I'm not going to be too fussed as long as it's got some interesting thing. And let's not forget that this is not a game that I'm charging people 20 or even 10 quid for. If you've already got an LDEC, you can already play this for free. And maybe one day, Questable, there will be a special deck for it. I mean, at some point, I want to keep making more and more letter shapes and more typography. But yeah, if these are games that you can say, yeah, this is a game worth playing, this is a game worth spending 7 quid on, and it's worth your time. It's worth your time to play and try. I'm kind of happy with that because there are a ridiculous number. And Robert says, the one in space and the one in sea, the variable missions in deep sea were so much a better game and the crew was excellent, but I'd only really play deep sea now. Fair enough. That is totally fair. Talking about what you would do now. Over to you, what's right up to you, can share button if you want to. So yeah, is there anything you want to share? Something you're looking forward to, something you want to do? I am going to... I've got a wee bit of a headache, I'm not going to lie. I think it might be the heat, I think it might be... but I didn't get out much yesterday until late at night. I did walk maybe 20 minutes, but today I might see how hot it is, go for a quick walk, at least round the block, have a bit of a nap. I feel like I could sleep for another 5 hours and maybe that's okay. Just catch up on sleep. I need to sort out stuff with Rob, and I'm going to sort that out, try and get stuff ready to be printed for Tabletop Scotland, and yeah, maybe go out tonight. There's a sort of club thing that opens at 7, although one time I got there at 8 and I was literally the first person. It's like, oh, I want to be there when it opens, and it was like 8:30 I got there, and then it was like maybe 10 that people start coming in, but I was really excited because, yeah, sure, it finishes at like 2 or 3 or whatever, but like, yay, a place that opens at 7, and then it turns out that the first few hours are just because it's a small place and the people who run it are happy to open up earlier, I guess. But yeah, if I go there, I'm going to be leaving when I'm tired. But it's fun to be out. Yeah, I'm going to give myself space, give myself joy, allow myself to sleep, and yeah, have a good day. Robert says, my day is boring domestic tasks. Got roll and move work to do before Tabletop Scotland, got to think about presentation, but also got a few ideas to try. And try to think of a theme of some sort. Sounds intriguing. I wish you all the best with that. And yeah, how long is your roll and move game? I'm intrigued. I mean, maybe depending on my energy levels after trade hours are finished and depending on what comes up, if it's a quick game, or maybe I'll just watch a bit of someone else playing and offer feedback. I mean, I know some people don't like feedback from people who've not played, but I think that at a certain point, you are obviously anything from someone who's not played, you take with a grain of salt, but I think there is, at a professional level, a lot that people can offer without necessarily playing the game. But yeah, it's 14 rounds, so roughly 5 minutes per player. So is it 2 players, so 10 minutes? Yeah, or is it that could you play fewer rounds if you're... But yeah, I mean, if it's 15 minutes, I'm happy to play that. As long as draft a tile, place it, roll a dice, score points for 2 to 4 players takes. Draft a tile, place it, roll dice, score points. So you do that 14 times. So 14 times around the board. Ah, okay. So if we assume that we're playing by instinct, drafting, let's say from 6, let's say you've got about 10 seconds to do that, and let's say 30 seconds. I'm going to say 7 minutes per player as a kind of, for people who are a bit brain dead and not playing particularly slowly, but also aren't AP. We'll probably give a better idea of what's happening than typing here. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, recap and wrap up before we finish up. So let me recap. I played Repeatable, where I played something about an interesting question about narwhal babies and whether they're really brave or whether they're really daring and why one word might not mean the same as the other. Never got into that, but that was an interesting story and I enjoyed the creativity of that designer. I'm really enjoying that game. We had some things. Yep. Elaine said it could be a good game to help with mental agility, and yeah, we had a few different comments. Then I played Questable, and then I started Questable at yeah, the first game, it took me about an hour. I didn't realize that. So yeah, then we started Questable, where I was playing through and doing a whole bunch of word making. Did a few 3-letter words, which was just to get it going. Jumped up to 3 5-letter words, which was interestingly challenging, and 3 6-letter words, which was wow, my brain. 2 letters from the bottom, nicely easy. 3 letters from the bottom, okay. This is challenging. 2 words with 4 from the bottom, ow, my brain. And then 6 cards with the ones on them set aside. That was interesting. And that definitely, how should I put it? That definitely felt very different and was nicely challenging. Robert suggested maybe having some reward for making a smaller word, which was a really good idea. And having that one word shuffle back in, really, I really like that. And yeah, the S cards might come around more, but yet it's not an issue. Well, yep, and we had lots of other ideas. Robert suggesting remove all of a certain card of a certain subset, which like remove all the E cards. That seems like a really good idea. Like having a certain bonus just for this level where you take out a card and this can be placed as a wild, or you need to make a certain number of double letter words. That's really interesting. Or your words need to start with certain letters. Like it's not just about what's in the word, but what's at the start of the word. About the type of words, the noun and the verb. That's really interesting. And I really appreciate you coming up with that brainstorm. Yeah, then we chat about what we're doing and relaxing, coming up, working on roll and move games, and enjoy that. If you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez in all the places. stuffbybez.com/streams if you want to check me out there. What am I talking about? Tomorrow, oh my gosh, tomorrow CD Doyle is going to be coming on and we will chat together. I am excited for that. I can't remember. Tuesday, something will be happening. I might actually launch a Kickstarter tomorrow. Yes, that will happen. Wednesday, chatting with Jess Medringham. Thursday, why run a big playtest event featuring Chris Kingsnorth? And then some short things, and next Monday, meeting Farnak Hon Modi, who's currently living in Thailand, who I'm excited to have a quick chat and has been a teacher. But yeah, check out all the things, share, spread the word. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a delight, absolutely joyful. And thank you for keeping me company, Robert, and everyone else who popped along, Elaine and Timmy, and anyone else who's watching after the fact. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please do comment, and I appreciate them all, and I reply to them all. Hope the suggestions work out, says Robert. Playtesting by Twitch is fun. Thank you. Like, this is the playtesting by observation. And lots of love, and bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.